Hello everyone, my name is Matthew Carpenter. My wife Jamie and I, we attend the New Life Conway campus alongside of our 5 kiddos. A lot of fun and a lot of gray hair, a lot of good memories. And I'm also a local financial advisor. And today I have been given the privilege to get to speak to you about our journey with Jesus and with money. Woo! Man, I'm excited to talk to you about money. I have a lens in which I've seen money my whole life, and we all have. We've all had life experiences that have shaped and crafted our view around money. And the Bible has a lot to say about money. Over 800 times there's references around money and stewardship and possessions. And it says it's a big deal to God about all those things. And I think it's because there is something special with our relationship with possessions that actually really say a lot about what we believe about God. If you want to know, people ask me, how can you tell about someone really believing in God or their belief about God? I'll say, let me see how they steward their money. Let me see how they steward their possessions. Because really, if you see it's in the squeezing of those financial times, or it's in the pouring out of those blessings during those times, that our real characters will often show. During those times, we really get to see what I believe about God and His goodness, His provision over my life, what I think of and about other people, about how I love other people, about how I love myself. And so today we're going to talk a little bit through this concept about the lens in which we see this. I had a strange lens growing up. I had a dichotomy. The first half of my life, I lived in a lot of provision. Our family owned a business, and we had a lot of provision, more than some of my other friends, and in some ways created some entitlement, in other ways just I enjoyed a lot. The second part of my life, through unfortunate family circumstances, I lived through borderline poverty. Lived in a broken down house. We had to carry, way out in the country, had to carry water to use the bathroom, to take showers, to cook. Ate the same thing for weeks. And so it created another lens for me about seeing money. And I started to really despise money at that time, or even had a poverty mindset around money. So we all have a lens, and I wanted to bring a little bit of my backstory into that so I could tell you a story about somebody challenging me, because we all need some fire, and I wanted to bring a little bit of fire today because we need some fire tested. We can't change, unfortunately, sometimes without good fire. So I went to Africa about 10 years ago. I had ran far away from any sort of career in money. I was not working. I got a professional degree in something else besides, not even related to money. So I found myself in Africa on a mission trip for 3 weeks in the bush, in where you would see a lot of poverty, right? And the head of this mission group there, a very, very large mission organization, wanted to meet with me, and I felt pretty high on myself. Oh, this guy wants to meet with me. So we sat down, and he looked at me and he said, "Matthew, I feel like there is a call of God on your life about money." Is there another Matthew around here? I don't think you're talking to me. And it was in this moment in the bush in Africa that my thinking had the opportunity to get to reshape. See, it was there that I got to learn about the provision of God. And he looked at me and he said, "Matthew," he said, "I would love to have you here in Africa to serve people and to love on people, because I know you love people." He said, "But if you go back to the United States and you don't come back to Africa, I want you to make as much money as possible." Well, I was really offended, because you're really supposed to give money away. But there, in that dusty place, he started to help me see. He said, "Matthew," he said, "how else are we going to help fund the kingdom if people are not stewarding their resources well? It's not evil to own riches and wealth. It's what you do with it." And And there's people that are called to live in both sides. And we all have our own journey. So today I want to talk to you about the lens in which you see your finances and your stewardship. And I got 2 verses over the next 2 days that I'm going to share with you that I want to put a little fire in your seat to maybe help craft your lens a little bit and to go before the Lord and to ask Him some good questions that I hope that He can reveal some things to you. The first verse that I got for you today is Proverbs 13:8. And the verse says, "The ransom of a man's life is his wealth, but a poor man, he hears no threat." The ransom of a man's life is his wealth, but a poor man hears no threat. If we shift this a little bit about the things that are in our life that we consider wealth, the question becomes, what in your life would cause you to be ransomed? You see, God sent His Son, and Jesus promised that through His life, through His blood and His resurrection, that we would have the opportunity to live life and live life to the full. But there are so many things that come in our life that come between that. He said, the poor in spirit will inherit the kingdom. When we have this new mindset, this renewed mindset of our absolute poverty without Christ, we come to Christ with nothing and He gives us everything. But if I'm coming at it from a place where I have something, where I can do it from my own will, from my own effort, from my own wealth, my own resources, then I can be ransomed. And one of the most difficult things that I see in myself and other believers is when we've accepted Jesus, we still have those things that can ransom us. Those things that we can hold on to. So a question that I have for you today is what dollar amount would cause you to be ransomed? And what I mean by that is if the enemy could come in and he could ransom you, what dollar amount would be enough? To where your bank account got to $1, $500, $10,000? What's the amount that you start sweating the belief and goodness of God, and that what you give over to in your ransom is the enemy will hold your health, your time, your relationships, your dreams, your emotions, all those things he'll hold. If I can squeeze this, if I can ransom you for this, I'm going to hold your health because you're too anxious about it. I'm going to hold your relationships because you argue about money all the time, or because there's greed in there. You have a little, you have a lot. Or my dreams, the things that I dream of, that I can't dream that God would be good enough. I have $1 in my bank account and I know He's given me a dream to own something large, to start a business, but I can't dream that far because my lens is a little cracked. And so the ransom of a man's life is his wealth. So is my wealth in what I have, or is my wealth in the absolute enormous storehouse of what God has for me? What does He have for me? What plan does He have for me? The question that I have for you today is, God, can you show me where my belief in you will be ransomed? Is there a possession? Is there something that I'm holding on to? Could I be so poor in my spirit that I could hear no threat from the enemy? I'm not afraid of what the enemy brings against me. I'm not afraid of the circumstances that come up. What things in my life am I so attached to that if it comes against me, there are some things that can be ransomed in my life? I want to be so poor in spirit that I hear no threat. The only thing that I hear and that I know is the goodness and the love of God on my life and the plan that He has for me. That's all I got for today. Blessings.